is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Listen to other great tech podcasts at www.techpodcasts.com.
Yo, you are in the right place at the right time, listening to the right thing. Tech Webcast. Congratulations on choosing such an awesome thing to listen to. You are clearly very smart. You're into tech stuff. You love hearing Brad and Jason and their guests chat. And you're probably really good looking too. Well done. So let's get into it. The weekly tech extravaganza that is Tech Webcast. In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
And welcome to episode 239 of the Tech Webcast podcast, recorded on the 18th of May 2013. Tech Webcast is recorded every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Your hosts today are Brad, Jody, Steve, Jacob, and myself, Andrew. Our special guest today is Scott Nerdo from nerdotv.com. We're having a few technical problems with Scott at the moment, but we're hoping he'll be able to join us shortly. How are you there, Brad?
Yeah, you hope.
Work with me on this one, Brad.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure he'll be along very shortly, I hope. Probably never. Andrew, what's up, buddy?
Just another day, mate. Just another day. Had a park session at the gym this morning. Ran around the park for about an hour and a half with a few mates and just got back from brunch. So, been a good little morning.
Oh, good stuff. Jody, hello, welcome.
Hey, hi, Brad. Hi, Andrew. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm good. Until the computer's just mucked up on me. It's freezing on me. Steve, what's up?
Hey, how you doing? Gonna be starting my live on location webcast starting in 2 weeks. I'm excited for that. See if it hopefully works.
Tell us about that tell us about it.
I've been wanting to do this for a while where, you just stream directly from my camcorder to Justin TV or whatever web service I'm using. Now, I've got the Teradek Cube and allows you to stream audio and video different ways. For example, a 4G modem.
Oh, nice. Good one. Okay. Good stuff. What else? Jacob, welcome. How are you, mate?
I'm great, mate.
Good on you, mate. How you been? How's your week been?
All right.
All right. What have you been doing? Anything exciting or?
Just setting up some stuff on my computer.
That's all you ever do is on your computer.
And I'm outside raking a lot of leaves.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You get paid for that or?
No, it's on my yard.
Oh, do your mum, dad, your parents don't pay you?
No.
Oh.
Because they don't know I'm doing it.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Interesting.
They just see it one day and it's gone.
All right. Well, I caught up with Andrew on Wednesday, Andrew.
Yeah, we did, mate. It was good to catch up. We have our catch up about every 3 weeks or so. Catch up for a bit of lunch and so forth.
That's quite fun. And we'll be sending, I hope it's okay to say, Andrew, we'll be sending...
Yeah, we're sending some gear off for Miss Jody Rains, the wonderful Jody Rains. So we'll send her a lovely little Aussie care package.
Yep, definitely.
Yay.
Next week, make send one to Steve, and then that's a wrap.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
I'm
good
too
fun.
excited. You definitely have to include Vegemite.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's done already.
That's right. No, that's there. That's done.
I'm afraid.
We want to see a live Vegemite eating.
Yeah,
I'm very afraid.
That sounds dirty.
Have you had it before, Jody?
What's that?
Have you had it before?
I have never had it, and I've been having Vegemite envy because I know you sent it to Chris Voss and you sent it to Robert Scoble, and I'm sitting here going like, "What am I, chopped liver?"
We have Vegemite.
I heard that's what it tastes like.
Chris Voss. If anyone, just jump on the Googles and type in Chris Voss Vegemite. He's not a huge fan.
No, he's not. No, he's not a huge fan, is he? Jacob, I was surprised by Jacob. He actually said it actually tasted like meat or something. Is that correct, Jacob?
Tastes like chicken?
Or meat or something, yeah. Is that correct? What did you say, Jacob?
Beef.
What did you say?
Beef.
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 Okay.
Mm.
Beef.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay, and yeah, that'd be good, Jody, to get your response for that, and interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll show it live. We'll do
Yeah.
Definitely.
maybe I'll get the new Google TV live stream, and I can, YouTube TV live
Yeah,
stream.
I
Did
actually
you see
applied for that. Actually, that's going to be coming very soon. I'm meaning that.
I know. I think it's so cool. I applied for it as well.
Yeah, you have to have more than over 1,000 viewers to apply for it.
Cool stuff.
So yeah, talking of Google, Andrew, did you catch the Google I/O during the week?
To be honest, Brad, I didn't get that much of it. I've been pretty busy doing other things. I've read a few bits and pieces, but I'm pretty sure Jody's got a couple of things in the news to sort of hopefully run through that. But it's been pretty big, and from what I can see, there's a huge focus on security, particularly around the glass holes. I think I can say that on here with the Google Glass.
Yep.
And also they showed the snowmobile that they're using to take, I guess, to do some of the Google Street View in underlying snow areas. So that was really cool.
Definitely. Oh, some of the new maps are fantastic. I haven't had a chance to look at. I had seen photos, and then
Supposedly they're coming out with maps for iPad. Coming out
that's
soon.
coming in summer. Some of you guys.
Yeah.
For us, should be coming very soon.
One of the cool things I downloaded on the phone today is the Hangouts app.
Oh yeah, yep. What's your view on?
And it works.
How do you like them? How do you like it so far?
Well, I was talking to you on it earlier today. I think it's great. It's clear. I've been so starved to have a way of being able to do a good hangout on the phone because there really wasn't a good way. But this is quite a refreshing new app. So I like it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's jump into some news then, Jody, and we'll come back to that soon.
Okay. Interestingly enough, Al Gore and Bono, they actually have something in common. The two of them are part of a group of investors that have invested in BizStone's mystery startup. The Twitter co-founder's new company, Jelly, closes its first round of funding with a celebrity-studded group of investors, including some tech notables, Jack Dorsey, Reid Hoffman, Evan Williams. So nobody seems to quite know exactly what Jelly is, but we do know that the investors include notables, Twitter co-founders Jack Dorsey, Evan Williams, LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, the Obvious Corporation co-founder Jason Goldman, science writer Stephen Johnson, and Roya Mahoob, one of the first female IT CEOs in Afghanistan. So we know that there's been some initial funding. Stone launched the startup earlier this year. It's expected to create a product that people can use on smartphones or tablets. The funding announcement didn't give any concrete examples of what Jelly actually is, but we think it may involve the intersection of mobile tech and social good. It's interesting because I know that, mobile has become very, very important, probably more important than like a lot of the innovations of the last 10 years. And I know that Facebook has been struggling with incorporating mobile in its technology. I'm curious what you guys think about this new jelly thing, this mysterious mobile jelly thing, what you might have heard about it and what you think it might be.
Is it jelly you can eat?
But we're still wondering
jelly
about
on toast.
Vegemite, so
I think it's...
Go ahead, Andrew.
It's really interesting that they've managed to pull together such a list of investors, I guess, people who are used to investing in the high-tech startup. From what we can see around the names, it's definitely social. It's obviously app-driven. It's the real question around what they're actually doing. I mean, how many more things are there that we can sort of do in social? There's so much happening. There's so many apps, but they've obviously raised some serious coin. But Sean Parker's Airtime raised 30-odd million and did not go anywhere fast. So let's hope these guys have got something really cool happening. It's going to be really interesting as that starts to evolve.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
that's funny, Andrew, that you mentioned Airtime, because I remember when that came out, everybody was all gaga about it, and it was like all the rage. Everybody was talking about it, kind of like when Quora came out and everybody had to be on Quora, and you don't hear about either of them anymore.
No, exactly. Although Quora, I think it's a really cool little site that's well and truly underrated. When I do a lot of Google searches, it seems to come up to answer a number of questions, but airtime is just, I actually use it now in a game because I'm in video technology myself, just to have a look. And quite often I'll click on find random person or, find someone, and there's just nobody on there. So the last 2 or 3 times I've gone to do it, it just hasn't come up. I've sort of clicked on it thinking, when will Sean Parker come up? I've got like a 1 in 5 chance, don't I?
Make a new friend.
I spoke to Gary Vaynerchuk on there a while back. I came across him.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Well, that was in the beginning when people were actually trying to figure out what it was.
But now it's...
I gather that if you went on it now, he probably isn't on it.
No, but he'll be on Zafo.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yep.
Plug. Ding. Cha-ching.
Steve, any views on that story?
Not really. I don't know much about it unless it's going to be a new type of donut or something. I don't know.
For you, it'll be a donut.
A new type of donut, yeah. A jelly.
Right.
Yeah, it encompasses your phone inside the donut.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next story. What else has been happening?
Well, can you imagine missing a phone call that could have been one of the most important calls of your career? The Intel ex-CEO looks back at his biggest blown call he missed out on the iPhone. Paul Otellini, who retired as the chip giant's CEO on Thursday, tells The Atlantic that he didn't do what it takes for Intel to be in Apple's initial smartphone. So he passed up on one of the biggest opportunities in Intel's history, supplying chips for the first iPhone. And he decided against doing what it took to make the chips for the Apple smartphone. If you can imagine, looking back in retrospect, not realizing how big the iPhone was going to be, what a mistake. And what he noted was it wasn't clear several years ago how well Apple's first iPhone would sell, or that such a device would change the entire computing industry. But one thing Intel has long prided itself on, and investors have come to expect from them, are high margins. So it gets those margins from pricing its chips higher than processors from the rivals. So the dilemma kind of came from the point that Apple negotiates the component pricing to the point that Intel felt that they didn't want to accept that, and consequently they unfortunately walked away from becoming the supplier. So I'm curious if you guys think that was like a big downfall for Intel. Did he make a big mistake there?
I think so, but I think at the time when they did it, based on the data, I think it was probably the right choice. It's just one of those things that you'll rue, because if you think about it, at that time before the iPhone came out, there's probably 20 or 30 different kinds of phones on the market. So as you said, Jody, they're working out, then it's a numbers game. They're probably looking at, okay, this iPhone thing is going to get 5% of the market. What's the profit? We're going to make 1% on each chip. This isn't going to make any sense for us. But they probably didn't realize that there's going to be 5 or 6 editions of this thing, and they're going to take 50% of the market. And as you said in that article that you're referencing there, they absolutely underestimated the numbers. But that's going to be something to live with, isn't it? Like to look at every iPhone and be like, damn, we could have had our circuit in that thing and it didn't happen.
Interesting. Just about curiosity, Andrew, what was your first phone before the iPhone?
My first phone, I had a brick phone. What was it? An Ericsson brick phone. That was my first phone. I actually had a phone before any of the teachers at school and things like that. And I was told, do not bring that thing to school. And then, 2 hours later, can you come into the staff room? We want to have a look at it.
Wow.
So it was...
what about smartphone? What was your first smartphone?
My first smartphone was the Sony Ericsson P800, and that would have been around the time of 2002.
Okay, and you had the iPhone, and you had the new the first iPhone, or?
No, I started with the iPhone 3. I was actually a late adopter of the iPhone. I needed a bit of convincing.
Okay, cool. Now, what about you, Jody? What was your first smartphone?
I had a Motorola Razr. I don't know if that would be considered a smartphone, but you could program it.
Cool.
So you could flash it with different settings. I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't know. Even smarter than that was my iPhone. So I guess it would have to. I don't know if the Razr constitutes being a smartphone or not.
What about you, Jacob? What was your first smartphone?
Never had one.
Okay, you still don't have one today, do you?
He's got a dumb phone.
No, it's too.
He does. What about you, Steve?
That's looks like a
Let me
BlackBerry.
see. First phone was a Nokia, and the next one I got after that I think was a Windows Mobile Wing. I think HTC made it, and then of course first smartphone was the iPhone. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, good phone. All right, Jody, what's else has been happening in the news?
Well, this is an interesting story, and I appreciate Andrew pulling it because we don't really see that much about Qantas Airlines. But evidently, Qantas says, forget your Kindle, read a book that we wrote for you. And it's interesting to the respect that I remember years and years ago when the airlines decided that, what's that? What?
Don't worry, keep going. It said it was 12.
Back in the days of the dinosaurs, for those of us who are ancient, when people used to read books. No, actually, what I was going to say is the airlines decided that they were going to cut one olive from each of the meals, and they recognized how much money they could save overall just by cutting one olive. And that started a whole slew of cost-cutting measures. So they cut the olive, then they would cut the food, and then eventually they cut the peanuts, and they just gave you pretzels. Well, evidently, Qantas is going totally in a different direction. And what they're doing, and it's kind of, I'm going to say retro, is that they're creating a book that is exactly the right length for your flight. And the people who are flying in the upper class compartments are being given these customized books. So kind of an interesting switch. I don't know whether it's more interesting that they feel that people are still reading books or whether it's interesting that they are actually going to this expense of creating something, I mean, actually having it printed and trying to calculate how many pages people would read on a given flight. I'm curious, do you think that would sway people to fly on Qantas as opposed to a different airline? I mean, what do you think the rationale is behind something like this?
I think
Anybody?
it's a really good branding exercise because I don't know if it would sway me to fly Qantas, but if I was choosing or sort of going in that direction, it's got to be something to consider. It's just as you said. I mean, retro is the right word for it. Well, while everything is just so technology based, getting a book when you jump on that's like 48 pages or something, and it's like this is how long it's going to take to read it. That's a really cool concept. And then you've got different people read at different paces, and it'd be just fun to read that book and be like, okay, am I going to get this thing right on wheels down? Like, as in, when do I finish reading it? And just sort of do the math on that. And how much fun I think it's really cool. And just the fact that they're actually doing something that's a bit old school. It's a premium airline, and they're actually providing something that's a little bit quirky. I just think it's a really, really cool idea when everyone's trying to go super high tech.
Yeah, definitely. I would rather use my iPad on the plane if they will let me. But that other option is pretty good. Cool too, Andrew. It's pretty good, mate. Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Jody?
Jody, yeah, what's your thought? Would you fly with Qantas?
Well, I don't know that I would be swayed by a book. I think it's kind of an interesting concept. I don't know that thinking about the concept of paper, we've become so acclimated to a digital world and a digital society. Even going to the library and taking out books these days, you think about all the people who have sneezed in it and eaten in it, and where has that book been? It's kind of like as dirty as money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and this is a little bit different though, because my impression is that they are creating these books individually for you, kind of like as a premium giveaway. But if the airlines are taking away the olive, what does giving me the book mean? And is it something that I really am going to value? I don't know.
What's a book made out of? Is it just out of normal paper, isn't it? It's made out, not in a tablet of some sort, or?
My impression from the article is that it's actually a nice bound book made out of nice paper.
Wow.
I'd rather have an olive.
Well, if you gave it to a kid, he'd probably draw on it.
Something of quality and class, they're saying.
Oh, okay.
Look, it may not make you fly,
books.
but it's something that you'll talk about over a coffee. And at the end of the day, that's what branding is, isn't it? It's about positive reinforcement to people around you. And if I jump off and I've got a book and it's something to talk about, it's good.
Yeah, definitely.
And it,
Go ahead.
it says in here also, it says each book is complete with something that everyone would wish for. A personal note from the Qantas CEO.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool.
So it is a upscale kind of.
So what would the note say, Jody? Can you give us a sample? Give us an example.
I would have to guess what the note would say because I'm not sure. And I would be putting words in the Qantas CEO's.
Would it say, welcome, Jody, to Qantas, something like that, enjoy the flight or something like that? Or
I imagine. But they say that the books have a cover and a booky smell.
Oh, yeah.
Just off topic on that, do you know that the ambassador for Qantas is John Travolta? So it's like the super Australian airline. And whenever you get on a Qantas flight, which I do often, they have a video running of John Travolta, saying how wonderful Qantas is.
Gee, that's fantastic. That I didn't even know he owned
Why?
it. He actually owns it, does he?
No, he doesn't own it. No, he's just an ambassador for it. He loves the airline. John Travolta's a huge Australian fan, and as you probably know, he's a big, or an aeronautical person. He loves flying, and he has really embraced Qantas for some reason. So whenever there's Qantas things happening, there'll be a video of him running it somewhere, or he'll have gone to some special day or flown there himself in an old Qantas plane he has. It's just really random that this Aussie proud premium airline has an American ambassador pushing it.
That's very cool. All right, Steve.
He lost it for me after he did Broken Arrow. I just thought that was like the worst movie ever, but
it wasn't great.
No, I agree. Steve, what's your thought on that story?
I don't know. I kind of like that movie. Well, anyway,
the train was on rails. It was easy to work out. It was always going in one direction.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
I don't know. Book. Oh, I was kind of when you were talking about. I was like, I wonder how long it would take for somebody to fall asleep reading. I don't know. It could be possible if how good the book is, the author that wrote it, and all that. But
yeah. Okay. Jacob, do you have a view on that? Would you like a book?
No, I'll reject it and just say I'm gonna use my iPad. There you go.
But what if you had your name that in though?
I'll try to sleep on the airplane.
Okay, that's a lame comment, mate. Okay, go ahead, Jody. What else is going on in the news?
Okay, well, talking about real-time communication. Interesting enough, the Firefox beta has a plug-in free real-time communication in the browser. No. And evidently they're using HTML5, which is the standard for streaming files, video, and audio on the web. And Mozilla activated what's called Get User Media in Firefox in April. And it uses the webcam and the microphone, peer connection, data channels, and it's pretty rockin' state-of-the-art stuff. Have you guys noticed any changes in Firefox? Have you been using this?
I have actually been using Firefox. Yeah, it's been pretty good. I got an update the other day, actually, on my Mac. So it works really well, yeah.
Mm. The WebRTC, it's going to be the future of communications. I absolutely believe that. Basically, at the moment, companies are either using, like we discussed briefly before, you've got things like Google Hangouts, which has its own proprietary download install base. But then other companies like my Zafo startup are using things like Flash. Flash is okay. It's great because it's on every PC, but it's not the most stable product on the planet. WebRTC is basically built into the browser, and it allows you to do real-time video chat, real-time broadcasting, all these sorts of funky things built into the browser. So effectively, the engine is sitting in there, and companies like my startup have the option then to actually go and provide software, web software using HTML5 that connects it all up. So it's going to be a huge thing in the next 5 to 10 years. I think we're really going to start to see WebRTC work around. The only question, though, is that it hasn't been fully adopted by Safari browser and by IE. You've got things like Chrome has adopted it, Firefox have adopted it, but unfortunately things like Safari, Apple are not too keen to adopt it because they want people to use their FaceTime products. So politics sort of get in the way when we're trying to build a standardized feature. But I'm still convinced that this is actually going to be the future in one way or another.
So what about the standard then? How is it just built into the browser and then third parties come and develop it, or is it standalone as it is?
No, that's basically right. It's built into the browser as a plugin that is shipped with the browser, and third parties come along almost like an API and can develop platform and software using HTML5 or whatever that actually uses this inbuilt feature for video communication. So for my startup, we've really heavily been looking at it for at least a year or two, and now we've got Chrome, we've got Firefox. We're at a point where we need to start considering it very seriously because other companies are. And we may get to a point where Safari and IE have to adopt it because other companies start using it. And obviously you then get the general consumer saying, hey, why doesn't it work on IE? I'm going to go download Firefox. And if we get to that point, then wow, this is going to be really cool. Look, I would think companies like Skype, and this is probably why, obviously, IE doesn't want to adopt it, because companies like Skype, this will really hurt their member bases, because you can effectively do a video chat in the browser, similar to my startup, but it will work on just anything, and there's no download, no install base. So it's a really interesting tool.
All right. Jacob, any views on that story?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man, you've gone to sleep. Steve, what's your view on that story?
Literally.
I kind of think it's interesting doing it that way, because I could see, of course, I think they're doing it too, so more people would use Firefox. But from a, like I said, developer standpoint, it's excellent. Anybody can develop software to use this, I guess, open API. And, well, of course, it was mentioned Apple didn't want to use it, and maybe Internet Explorer. But I could see, if Apple eventually having to do this, they would somehow try to build a FaceTime integration into the browser or something like that. That might work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Good point. All right. Jody, any other stories?
Wow. Yeah. Cool stuff going on with Google. You know that they had a big, some big announcements this week. I know that when I've been on Google Plus these last couple days, I've noticed a big change in the screen layout. And the conjecture is that Google Plus really is Google 2.0. The redesigned social platform apparently looks a lot like Pinterest and maybe a little bit more like Facebook. The columns get a lot more information from the users, but they also created some interesting things that have to do with the auto enhance from the photos. I haven't noticed this personally yet, but evidently there's something called Auto Awesome, where the software has the ability to create new images from one that didn't exist. So, for example, if you go on vacation and you took like 100 pictures, and you have some of the pictures where people are smiling and others where they're not, what Google will do now is it'll take all of the people and make them smile in one picture. Wow. So it creates a picture that like didn't exist before, if you can imagine.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So some pretty cool stuff.
I actually tried that yesterday, actually, with a photo. It looks pretty good. It reads the picture 100 times better. It's really, really good feature to have.
How did it work for you?
Worked fantastic. Yeah, it worked great. Yeah, worked really good. You should try it out. It's really good.
Well, actually, the Google, I've used the new Google Plus interface. I find it kind of confusing a little bit, and then when you're trying to type posts, as soon as you put your cursor in the box and it starts moving up here, and you're trying to,
Yeah. Vincent Brown, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he actually doesn't like it. He actually called it looks like a plastic toy.
Yeah,
and,
it's
sure why.
if they organize things better. I found it very confusing too. Like, where does this supposed to go? Is it all together? Of course,
you just got to get time.
Yeah.
You can actually, I don't know what browser you're using, Steve, but works fine for me. What about you, Jody? What's your view on the new layout? You like it or hate it?
I'm still not used to it, but I guess, every time that Facebook would implement a change, it seemed like they would mess everything up. And there was a lot of pushback, a lot of aggravation. People said, no, I want it the way it was before. It's interesting to me because when Google introduces a new design for Google Plus, it feels different. It doesn't feel like they took away something, but like it's more streamlined, easier, like they added something of value. And I don't get the same sense of pushback from the community that you do every time Facebook,
Yeah.
changes things. It's like they yank the rug out and then they put it back in again. It's almost like when Google introduces it, it's more streamlined and user friendly. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does. Does it? Andrew, what's your view on the new Google Plus layout? Have you seen it all?
Basically, yeah, I have. I like it. I mean, it's funny where everything is just becoming simpler and simpler and simpler. It's all white spaces. It's all taking away color, and I think they're trying to access multiple markets by doing that, by having it really bland and really simple. It means you can go after the teenage girl and the senior business person as well. I like it though. It's very clean. It's a lot better than they had very early on. I don't like though that the menu is a hover only, so you have to actually hover over the menu to sort of see it. And even when you're not hovering, it's just white space, so it's sort of not used.
Is it a big deal to you? Is it, Andrew?
I don't know long term, but when I first had a look at it, it was like, oh, I don't really like that. I really like the menu being on the page because when I'm in the middle of doing something, it catches my eye, and if there's somewhere else I want to go, it gives me a launching pad to move off to there. If it's gone, it's sort of out of sight, out of mind, and I think it also makes it difficult for potentially to have notifications and things. So if I've got the menu on the left and it says, in brackets 3 next to messages and 24 next to people online, if that's disappeared, then I'm not seeing those active, real-time updates.
What about question for you? What about the refresh and the hashtags? Have you tried the new hashtags and stuff?
I haven't personally. No, I had a look at it for about 5 minutes. I have to admit, I have not been as active on Google Plus. I've got a number of messages and things to get back to people on.
Yet again, Vincent Brown, he went off his head about the hashtags because he couldn't get it working yesterday. I don't know why he was carrying on about it, but it's working for him. But I think Vincent, he needs to give things a go for a bit. He carries on a bit over these sort of small things. I don't know.
I actually disagree. I think it's a user's first impression is never wrong. It can't be wrong. So if he's jumped on and he doesn't like it and it doesn't make sense, that's a general user, someone who's good in technology, who's saying, you know what, this doesn't work for me, this doesn't make sense for me, and that's got to be taken on board.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he needs to give it time, though. He always bags out this new stuff. He needs to give it time and this sort of thing. And, he seconds this new design looks like it's the same as the iPad app and this sort of thing. And, what do you reckon, Jody? About that?
I think that I like Vincent's opinions. I think Vincent knows a lot, and honestly, I find value in what he shares.
Oh yeah, definitely. Vincent's a smart guy. I'm not trying to put him down, but I think he goes overboard with the comments, calling it a plastic toy, which is pretty stupid in my book.
Well,
it's funny.
It did kind of remind me a little bit of Fisher Price. I mean, I hate to see that, but you kind of have that color.
Toys and that, kids toys.
And if Fisher Price wants to be a sponsor of Tech Webcast, we'll take it.
There you go. We did a plug for Fisher Price there.
Fisher Price, yeah. No,
FisherPrice.com. Get on board.
Maturities.com. Check out his cool website too. He does a great job.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, Jody, what else has been happening?
Hey,
well,
what about me?
Hang on. I've got Jacob. Go ahead, Jacob. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
You forgot me in a couple stories.
Go ahead. What's your views on them? Sorry, mate.
Yeah, well, I want to really hammer down on Google Plus.
Go ahead.
I hate their chat.
Well, the Hangouts are the new chat, mate. So, yeah.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I want to see who's on, who's not on. But it's not. I have to go to my Digsby client in order to see who's on and who's not on.
Yeah, I don't know why they removed that. That's just a stupid idea.
I've seen that as well. I couldn't find anything in Google Plus Hangouts.
I don't know why they did that. That's a stupid. Really, that's a dumb move. I think I'm quite annoyed by that as well. Not having to chat online and stuff.
Yeah, they removed Google Chat. They're fixing to remove it from the Gmail as well.
Oh well, looks like they're going to lose some more people off Google Plus, maybe. What else, Jacob, do you want to say?
Nothing. Google better fix it.
Or are you going to leave and go to Safo?
I'll probably still use Google Plus, but I'll probably go right to Zarfo.
Yeah, we've got some stuff coming, but we're still a couple months away with our app and things. But when we are ready, we'll let you guys know what we're up to.
Definitely, I agree. Jody, any other question? Any more news stories?
Well, yeah. Interestingly enough, I know for those of you who know Dell's model, it's an interesting organization. They're not really a leader in terms of creating technology, but they've been a leader in terms of marketing technology. They're the kind of company that gets best of breed stuff from other companies, puts it together to make the computers that they sell. Evidently, right now there's a big PC slump that's hitting their earnings, and the company, which reported earnings 5 days earlier than expected, posted a dismal first quarter due to continued crumbling of the PC market. So whether it's eroding because there's more tablets in the works, really they reported that their numbers, they reported $372 million revenue. I'm sorry, the PC maker reported $372 million on revenue of $14.07 billion, or 21 cents a share. And according to analysts, Dell was expecting to report income of $607.1 million, which would be roughly double, almost double what they reported, and that would have been at 35 cents a share. So obviously, they missed whatever they were hoping to hit. I guess the question really is whether the PCs are on their way out because of tablets, whether it's just Dell that's on its way out because of Apple. I'm just curious, what your take is on this, the fact that their sales are so
Dell sucks.
horrendous.
That's probably why it sucks. They make cheap computers. Andrew, what's your view on that?
I think really we're getting to a point where what Dell do, as you said, Jody, is they are effectively a component purchaser. They buy a bunch of components from different companies, bolt it together, put a nice plastic box around it, and put a Dell logo on it and ship it. That's all very well and good, but while companies and while individuals, consumers are buying finalized, finished products like iPads, iPhones, all these sorts of tablets, Macintosh laptops, these sorts of things, they're Dell computers that are not being shipped. And you've got companies now that are buying their stuff just an iPad. Well, Dell doesn't have any part of that. So this is an ongoing process. And every time that happens, that's an order that Dell doesn't get, particularly in high-end corporate. So I think it's all about mobility. And actually, a friend of ours on the show, Keith Tier from the Just Me app, he actually did a presentation in Europe during the week, Digital October Center, and it was called "It's the End of the Web as We Know It, and I Feel Fine." And it's all about the World Wide Web is dead, long live mobile. So the browser and desktop computers are dying at a daily rate almost, and everything is becoming more and more mobile. And people who deliver mobile technology tend to deliver it as a single option from a box from the company itself.
Well, yeah, I do understand that the PC is definitely going way down, obviously due to tablets and smartphones and devices like that. Even though they're being phased, I'm not saying phased away, but a lot less people are going to buy them. We're still going to need them in some way. For business, for enterprise, stuff like that. There's some things you just can't do on a tablet or a smartphone. Video video production. There's just a lot of stuff. Photographic, adjustments and all that. So we're going to see less and less of PC desktops. Even though the desktop's going away, we're still going to have laptops are still doing fairly well as well. So, but obviously, not as much for the desktop.
But are we upgrading our devices? I know for myself, I'm using a laptop that's probably 3 years old. For me, that's as long as I've ever used one, but I am cautious to upgrade it because I rarely use it these days. Everything I use on a daily basis is mobility. But as you said, Steve, when I've got to do things like high-end graphics control and do corporate governance documents and things like that, I do return back to the laptop, but it gets a lot less use. So I'm a lot more hesitant to actually upgrade it because it's not giving me as much as it used to.
Yeah, I think if you need a lot of typing done, something like that's harder to do unless you use like a Bluetooth keyboard might work. But
I really love the dictation on the Mac. Andrew, have you tried out the dictation on the iPad? It's really good.
No, I haven't actually.
That's really, really good idea. You just type out what you want and it types it all out and stuff. It's really good. Comes in handy. Jacob, do you have any views on them stories, mate? On that story?
Well, the Dell, when I was at my high school, the computers had Windows XP and always breaking down.
Really?
Yeah, it was like learning how to type and stuff like that.
What did you do to them? Did you break them?
No, the students broke them.
Wow. You're one of the students, though, aren't you? You're the student.
No, because I was always told to get off of them at a certain time.
And did you?
Yes.
Okay.
But I raised a fuss, though.
Okay. All right.
I cussed the teacher out.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, let's not go there. What else, Jody's been happening?
Well, here's another interesting story. With these large events, we recently had an incident here in the United States at the Boston Marathon, and evidently, coming up, you're going to be having the World Cup event. I know the Super Bowl is coming to New Jersey, and there's been an ongoing search for ways to assure security and determine better ways to keep the peace. So iRobot recently announced that it's going to outfit Brazil with 30 PackBot robots. These are units similar to those that were deployed in Afghanistan, Iraq, and inside of Japan's Fukushima nuclear power plant. These PackBots are camera equipped and they're remotely controlled, and operators can examine suspicious objects. They can explore threatening environments. The robots work in tandem with thousands of soldiers who will be patrolling the 12 host cities in Brazil. The contract is $7.2 million. It includes maintenance, spares, associated equipment. Each PackBot costs roughly $100,000 to $200,000. The Brazilian police are also going to be wearing some high-tech gear, visions of Google Glass, but the officers are going to be sporting facial recognition camera glasses, and those camera glasses are said to claim something like 400 facial images per second, and then they can archive each face in a database that stores up to 13 million faces.
Wow.
In their attempt to become one of the most protected sports events in history, Brazil invested, get this, $900 million to boost their security forces for the 2014 World Cup.
That's
crazy stuff.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Andrew, what's your view on that? Pretty real quick, mate, because you need to go.
Yep. That is crazy. I mean, I read that story during the week, and it's so crazy that you can't even almost comprehend it. It's like we are now at Star Trek. We're almost past Star Trek. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about it.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Would you talking of Google Glasses? Would you buy some, Andrew, when they come out?
Absolutely. I would have bought them inside the Explorers if I had the opportunity, but they're not delivering to Australia.
I can just imagine you wearing them too.
Did you see Chris Voss's?
Yeah, he did. They're pretty cool. I want to get.
He had Google glasses.
Yeah, from China.
Google.
Jake, would you buy a pair of them from China?
Heck no.
Why not?
I already have sunglasses. I don't need no Google glasses.
Wow. Okay, well, I agree. I don't need glasses either. I'm happy with the iPhone or whatever the next phone comes out. I'll get a new phone.
I like to see something like an iWatch, something that's actually functional.
Yeah, iWatch would be good. Yeah. I agree. An iWatch would be good. A smartwatch would be good because I need a watch actually.
Yeah, I do too. Actually,
I'm getting iMessages sent to me like crazy right now. Jody, what else has been happening?
You mean in the news? What's that?
Is that it for the news, or are you going to keep going?
We have one more story that has to do with Marissa Mayer about to buy Tumblr for $1 billion.
Oh wow, that's good. Good news. That's good.
You think it's good? Why do you think it's good?
She'll probably do good things with it, right? I don't use Tumblr anyway, so it doesn't really worry me what she does with it.
I agree. I don't disagree. Steve, what do you think?
Isn't it like Tumblr? I don't know. Hardly. It's kind of on its way down. Perhaps maybe that's why she's buying it. I think like Pinterest and some of the other, photographic type apps are getting more popular. But I don't know. Is it still popular to put photographs on there? Like
what, on Pinterest?
Or no, what do you call it? Tumblr?
Yeah,
people still use it?
Yeah, people still use it. Yeah. I don't use it, but Andrew, do you use Tumblr?
I do and I don't. Every now and then, if I'm Google searching and things like that, and Tumblr comes up, I rate it. So I'll actually go and have a look at what they're doing and what they're sort of showing. I don't have an account, but I almost signed up yesterday actually.
Oh.
I think it's a really good product. I think it's a really good demonstration of good user experience.
Yeah, I agree. I don't use Tumblr, but
Well,
I
don't
use
like people
Reddit.
now put photographs like mostly on social networking. I don't know.
Yeah, Jacob, what's your view on that? Buying Tumblr?
Don't know. I've used it once, and that's about it.
You haven't gone back since.
No.
All right.
It's 1 o'clock.
Well, good news story, Andrew and Jody. Good news.
All
Good
good.
stuff.
All right, so Jody, let's quickly talk about this app you've been using.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we did a little demo for the show and sent it over to Steve. Actually, we did a couple of them. And the app is called Crazy Talk Pro or Crazy Talk 7 Pro. And the way that it works is you take a picture. The best pictures are those that the person has no expression and their lips are closed. And what the app does is it finds different places on the person's face. You kind of map it. And it becomes a moving picture. So what's kind of cool, you can do animals, you can do people, you can take historical figures and you can put them in front of different backgrounds, put them on different bodies. So it's kind of cool and a little bit creepy at the same time. I don't know if you want to show the demo.
Yeah, I
show the
can
demo,
show
Steve,
like
you.
the couple of seconds of it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you can't really see that because let me try it again. It doesn't want to work.
No, that's
All right, well, you'll have to take our word for it then. But basically, what's kind of neat is you can take a person's face and you can change the color of the eyes. You can give it different hair. You can change features. You can mosh people together, and it animates the photograph. And you can give it different expressions, different animations, and like even to the extent that if you have a person where the picture was taken, the person's lips are closed, you're actually adding teeth into the picture.
wow, that's cool.
Which is okay. And you match the teeth to the color of the picture, the eyes. So
What's the price on that, Jody, to buy?
I got it on sale. It was one of those things where they email you an app and then you can buy it. I paid about $100 for it.
Well, is it
I believe it goes for, I want to say 150. So
is it worth it?
well, I'll let you know. I think it's totally cool. I think it's very powerful for what it does. I'm not exactly sure how I intend to utilize it or justify it.
What made you get it?
I just thought it was cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely.
I'll try to get it working next week. Try to get it.
What's the name of the company again? Because they may want to send us a review product or something.
Let's see who did this. Wait a minute, I'll tell you.
And also, speaking of reviews, Andrew, we'll be getting a digital radio review from what's the name of it?
That's correct. We've got a digital radio review coming to you, which will be next
Bush.
week, and that's from our good friends
Bush.
Software.
Bush.
What's that? No, the actual radio is a Blaupunkt radio.
Okay, I thought it was
Nice.
Oh no, yeah.
And that's from our good friends Software House. What was that one, Brad?
Bush.
Bush.
Yeah, Bush.
Okay.
They make digital set-top boxes and stuff like that, you know.
Okay, there you go.
3D TV and that sort of thing. They're pretty good, great company. Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jody. What else do you want to mention before we go?
Well, I was just gonna say, you asked me who manufactured Crazy Talk 7, who the company. It's called Reallusion, REALLUSION.
Cool. We may have to get them on the podcast for a chat about that.
There you go.
It's all right. Steve, what's your view on that? Would you use that program?
Well, I mean, it's a little expensive just to just for I guess it's just for fun, I guess entertainment. But I don't know if some people use it a lot. It might actually make a good little Christmas gift or something. You do a video of their face and send it to them or something.
Definitely. Jacob, would you use that?
I don't have a Mac.
It's not for. Is it for Mac and Windows, Jody, or?
Right. The version I have is for Mac. I'm not really sure if they make
That's a good question.
for Windows.
Mac is where to go. You never go back if you're on a Mac. I agree.
Could you?
I love my Mac.
Yeah, I love Mac.
Could you do a check for us, Jody?
Yeah. Okay. We don't need to wrap the show up, Jake. So Andrew needs to go. Andrew, what's your Twitter username, mate? And that's what's up before you go.
Okay, you can get me on Twitter and Facebook /Ari from Oz, ARIFROMOZ, and Zafo.com /@Andrew.
And also Facebook.com/Zafo if you want to chat to me now on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. So just /Ari from Oz on Facebook, and can have a chat.
Yep. And also you can get me on Twitter at Brad Oz and at Tech Webcast. Jacob Jones.
Okay, you can follow me at JazzBot32669 and at TechLuster on Twitter.
Good job, buddy. And who do we have on this week? On TechLuster. Tell Jody. She'll be surprised who we have on.
Audrey Schuler.
That's her. And tell her what she does.
Hoopin'.
Jody, maybe you may want to tune into this and check it out.
And learn how to hoop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
okay.
hooping it.
Do you want to know where to find me?
Go ahead, Jody. Yep.
You can find me on Twitter as Sunswept. You can find me in most of all the usual places as either webmarcom.net, or Jody Rains.
Cool. I didn't forget to ask you. I was going to ask you next.
Thank you.
Steve.
You can find me on Twitter at Chatterbox_live and Justin.tv/LinuxCoolDude, where you also see the live version of the Tech Webcast. Yippee.
Yeah, it's good job, by the way. Steve, now, by the way, just before we go, what video software do you use on your Mac, Jody?
Which, what?
What video editing software do you use on your Mac? Just curious to know.
I use a couple of different things. I use iMovie, and I use something that's available on the web, which is really easy to use, called Animoto.
Oh, cool. Okay. What about you?
I use Animoto too. It's a fantastic product.
Okay.
Love it.
What about you, Steve? What do you use?
Yeah, Animoto's not too bad. If you want to make some quick videos, is pretty good. I mostly use Final Cut Pro 10 and sometimes iMovie too.
iMovie, yeah, iMovie's great. Andrew, will you be getting a Mac anytime soon, or mate?
Probably. I mean, long term, I think it's definitely something I need to do. We just need to look at it as an organization, because there's a number of computers I'd need to replace with people. So we'd need to sort of look at that as an organizational thing. And maybe.
What time does your train leave?
I've missed the last 2 trains, so I will be on the next one, which is at 24. So it's about 15 minutes from now.
Bail, mate. Thanks.
And just a quick one too, as we said, for Anywhere. Anywhere.com.au, who are the company who supplies with a number of hardware items. Check them out. Anywhere.com.au. We'll be doing a review of the Blaupunkt digital radio next week, which I've actually been using the last few days and getting my head around it, and so far so good.
And what about that charger thing? Do you get that going as well? That charger? That's from Anywhere Computers too. That charger based for the phone and stuff.
No, I don't believe I've got one of them, Brad.
I thought I sent you one. Okay.
No, I haven't got one.
Must have been something else. Okay, thinking. All right, Jacob, what do you want to say before we go? Do you want to mention anything before we go?
Not really.
Okay, we'll just hang out on Google Plus, eh?
Yes, sir.
All right, mate. Thanks, guys, for being on. Good show.
All right, see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tap.
From Aussie Tech,
thank you.
Join Will, Eric, and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date, important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. or GMT +10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechhead.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest-running tech news podcast.
Well, that's it for Tech Webcast this week. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed having your mind expanded. Tune in next week for more tech talk with Brad, Jason, and whatever crazy guest they've managed to rope in. Don't forget to get the Tech Webcast app from iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast, and of course check us out on Facebook too. Until next time, may the tech be with you. Peace.